Hola y buenos días. Soy yo, el señor Morris. ¿Cómo están ustedes? Oh, está bien. Well, good. My friend here is doing well. Have you been practicing your Spanish? Well, I came out to the campo here to practice some of mine, and I hope that you'll do some with me today. Today, we're going to go over all that we've done in this unit in preparation for the evaluation next class, and we'll even play some lotería. But let's begin, as we always do, with our canción de saludos. Presten atención y canten todos conmigo. Hola, hola, buenos días, bienvenidos, ¿cómo están? Todos juntos ya estamos listos para aprender. Muy bien cantado. Well, I tell you what, to get started, why don't we go ahead and begin by reviewing the questions and responses that we started this unit with. How about the question, ¿Dónde vives? Do you remember that question? ¿Dónde vives? Well, if I ask you the question, ¿Dónde vives? And you lived in a place like this. Yeah, not a lot of buildings, not a lot of houses, no big roads, not a lot of people living here. If you lived in this kind of place, do you know what you'd say? You'd say, vivo en un pueblo. Repitan todos. Vivo en un pueblo. But what if you lived in a different place? What if you lived in a place like this? Yeah, you got a lot of big buildings, a lot of people living close together, lots of streets, lots of traffic, lots going on. If you lived in a place like this, you'd say, vivo en una ciudad. Repitan todos. Vivo en una ciudad. That's right. But what if you didn't live in the pueblo? You didn't live in the ciudad. What if you lived in a place like this? Yeah, out here with my friend, and over here where there are a lot of places like this. Yeah, out in the countryside. You'd say, vivo en el campo. Vivo en el campo. Very good. But what if instead of saying, ¿Dónde vives? What if I didn't ask you? What if somebody asked you about me? And they said, ¿Dónde vive Señor Morris? ¿Dónde vive? What if they said that, and I lived in a place like this? Yeah, what if I lived in this kind of place, and somebody said, ¿Dónde vive Señor Morris? You'd answer, vive en un pueblo. Repitan todos. Yeah, but what if I didn't live in a pueblo? What if I lived in a place like this? Yeah, and I have. Oh, they're nice. Lots going on, lots of places to go, things to do, people to see. If I lived here and somebody asked you, ¿Dónde vive, Señor Morris? You would answer them by saying, vive en una ciudad. Repitan. Right. But what if I lived in this kind of place? And wouldn't this be nice? Yeah, with my friend over here and colleague, La Vaca. If I lived in this kind of place and somebody asked you, ¿Dónde vive, Señor Morris? You'd answer by saying, vive en el campo. Repitan todos. All right, very good. Well, I tell you what, to help you go over that one more time, I'd like you to review with this video called ¿Dónde vives? Ahora, presten atención y repitan todos. ¿Dónde vives? ¿Dónde vives?
Vivo en un pueblo. ¿Dónde vives?
Vivo en una ciudad.
¿Dónde vives?
Vivo en el campo. Muy bien. Now, let's go ahead and look at the different community services and the personnel that work in these communities. What I'd like you to do is try to identify these pictures as quickly as I can when I show them to you. Tell your teacher, and I will let you know if you've got the right answer after I count to 3, okay? So let's do this in preparation for our loteria for today. The first place that we looked at is this one. People work here. Raise your hand, tell your teacher by the time I count to 3. 1, 2, 3. El hospital. El hospital. ¿Y quién trabaja en el hospital? Raise your hand, tell your teacher. 1, 2, 3. Los médicos. Los médicos. Very good. ¿Quién más trabaja en el hospital? Okay. Probably recognize these pictures and you can probably remember them in English. Can you raise your hand and tell your teacher who they are in Spanish? 1, 2, 3. Las enfermeras. Las enfermeras. Very good. How about this community service? And it says policía right up there. Do you remember what it's called? 1, 2, 3. La jefatura de policía. La jefatura de policía. Very good. And who works there? Duh. 1, 2, 3. Los policías. Los policías. That's right. Well, now this one here, it's an office, and you may recall that we use this word, correos, to talk about mail. It's in our alphabet. So, 1, 2, 3, la oficina de correos. That's right. And who works there? These people. They take the letters around to everybody. And the letters in Spanish are called cartas. So these people, what are they called? 1, 2, 3. Los carteros. Los carteros. How about this place? Do you remember? Is this a department or a station? Hey, well, it's a station. That's right. A station. And do you remember what these people who work there are called? Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3. La estación de bomberos. La estación de bomberos. So, what are these guys called? You should know this. 1, 2, 3. Los bomberos. How about this place? Now, is this a station or a department? It's a department. Do you remember what it's called? 1, 2, 3. El Departamento de Sanidad. El Departamento de Sanidad. That's right. They keep things sanitary. And the people who work there are these people. Do you remember trash is called basura? So these people are called what? 1, 2, 3. Los basureros. Los basureros. How about this place? No brainer. 1, 2, 3. El banco. El banco. And the people who work there? This one's pretty easy too because we just put our ending onto that word and we get 1, 2, 3. Los banqueros. Los banqueros. And these places, remember I say that we negotiate? 1, 2, 3. Los negocios. Los negocios. So your English can help your Spanish some. And the people who work there, yeah, they're involved in commerce. Uno, dos, tres. Los comerciantes. Los comerciantes. How about this place? Oh, I'm sure you're all familiar with this in English. Do you remember what it's called in Spanish? Uno, dos, tres. La escuela. La escuela. Very good. You may be there right now. And you may be with one of these people. Do you remember what they're called? Hopefully you remember this one, because you can talk to your teacher about this every day, and you can call your teacher this. Uno, dos, tres. Los maestros. Los maestros. And this last place that we looked at, where you can go and check out books or videos, look at magazines. It's a mouthful. La biblioteca. La biblioteca. And the people who work there, remember we see them on our video every time. Do you remember what they're called? Uno, dos, tres. Los bibliotecarios. Well, that's a mouthful to say that one. Well, I tell you what, to go ahead and look at those one more time, and since all these people were so helpful, I'd like you to review with this video about quienes trabajan en la comunidad. Ahora, presten atención y repitan todos. Los servicios de tu comunidad y las personas que trabajan en tu comunidad. El hospital.
Hola, me llamo Becky Frame. Yo soy doctora.
Hola, me llamo John Steenbarger. Soy doctor.
Hola, me llamo Linda Scott. Soy enfermera.
La policía.
Hola, me llamo Matt Pavich, soy un policía.
Hola, me llamo Lisa González. Soy un oficial de la policía.
La oficina de correos.
Hola, me llamo Pablo Ramírez, soy un cartero.
Hola, me llamo Bonnie Stewart. Soy una cartera.
La estación de bomberos.
Me llamo Mark Goldberg. Soy un bandero.
Me llamo Kristen Wayland. Soy una bombera. Smile.
El Departamento de Sanidad.
Hola, me llamo Wayne Clutines. Soy basurero.
Hola, me llamo Mercedes Castillo. Soy basurera.
El banco.
Me llamo Sam Thornton. Soy banquero.
Me llamo Julia Canizales y soy banquera.
Los negocios.
Hola, me llamo Chris Dominic. Soy comerciante.
Hola, me llamo Paul Wagner. Soy comerciante.
La escuela.
Hola, yo me llamo Frank García y yo soy un maestro.
Me llamo Señora Gilbert. Soy una maestra.
La biblioteca.
Hola, me llamo Vicky Grenade. Soy una bibliotecaria.
Hola, me llamo Miguel Brem. Soy un bibliotecario.
Muy bien. That was a good way to review, looking at the different people. Hopefully you review by looking and talking about the people where you live. Another great way to review is by playing Lotería. Lotería. Now, I hope you remember from the last time that we played this, your game board, you should each have one game board at least. Okay? Here's my game board. You want to get 3 across, which is horizontally, 3 vertically, or you can get 3 diagonally. Okay? Once you get 3 in a row, I think you remember what to say. Everybody should say, Lotería. Repitan todos. Lotería. And if somebody gets too excited or forgets and says, bingo, you remind them what they're supposed to say. Let's go ahead and start with this one. If you have this on your game piece, el pueblo or un pueblo, go ahead and mark that. Oh, I see that on the game piece on the board that I'm playing, so I'm going to mark mine, un pueblo. How about this? La estación de bomberos. La estación de bomberos. If you have that on your game board, go ahead and mark it. Next, la oficina de correos. La oficina de correos. If you have that, go ahead and mark it. I have that on mine, so I'm going to mark that one on mine. Ahora tengo dos. I've got 2 now on mine. Let's see. How about los basureros? Los basureros. If you have this on your game board, go ahead and mark it. And how about la ciudad? La ciudad. If you have la ciudad on your game board, go ahead and put a marker on it. How about el departamento de sanidad? El departamento de sanidad. If you have this on your game board, go ahead and mark it now. How about this one? El banco. If you have el banco on your game board, go ahead and mark it. I've got that on mine. I'm going to mark mine. Okay. Let's continue with this next one. La biblioteca. If you have la biblioteca on your game board, go ahead and mark it now. Los carteros. Los carteros. If you have that on your game board, go ahead and mark it now. I've got that one on mine. And you know what else is interesting? If you look at this guy, he looks kind of like Humphrey Bogart. Okay. How about this one? El hospital. If you have el hospital, go ahead and mark it. Hey, look at me. Look at me. Lotería. Lotería. Yeah. I tell you what, if you guys have some time to play this again, it's a good way to go over. It's a lot of fun. Maybe different people can call out the words and mix them up and things. I'd like to remind you that our next class will be the evaluation for Unit 2. And teachers, you'll want to have the evaluation sheets copied from the Learning Partner Guidelines. Now students, if you've been following along throughout the unit, you should all do fine. You can review by playing Lotería or asking questions of your classmates, anything like that. Ahora, tenemos que despedirnos. For our closing song today, I'd like to sing the birthday song. Okay, for all of you who just had birthdays, who are going to have birthdays soon, this is the birthday song. Canten conmigo. Estas son las mañanitas que cantaba Rey David, pero no eran tan bonitas como las cantan aquí. Despierta, mi bien, despierta, mira que ya amaneció. Ya los pajarillos cantan, la luna ya se metió. Muchas gracias. Until next time. Adiós. Nos vemos. Thank you.